Alright, hello, welcome. I'm a little bit early, but it doesn't matter because nobody watches. This is my own personal video log. My name's Frank. This is No More Paper Trading. One day this will be the premier community of traders. People will be begging me to let them in. And I'll say, nope, you were trying to sell people shit. Anyway, this is pre-market wake up. I don't do it as much anymore, but I do it for myself. It lets me... It's like the final step in learning. For me, I noticed that I would read something about chart patterns, and it would stick for like a few days, and then I'd find myself reading it again because it vanished from my memory, till I remembered, oh, you have to learn in a lot more ways than just reading. So I started this show with the intention of, I felt like something was missing. And I started it with the intention of building the community to talk about trading with actual traders, not, I don't know, not people trying to sell you something. But I found out my trading leveled up in a lot of ways since starting this, just from doing it, just from taking the time, speaking out loud my thoughts, plans, and actions. Anyway, I'm early because we've got news. Big stinking news. Let's check it out. We got CPI coming. This is the big inflation hullabaloo. I am flat in a lot of my positions, except for the long-term ones. I took a intermediate term short in oil, but I got out with a small profit because I don't know what this news will do. If I had planned to hold that trade for a couple days, things might be different. Well, we'll see the reaction in real time. Why not? This is the NQ. Well, somebody knew what the news was going to be. What a surprise. Inflation has fallen. Not real inflation, not the prices that actual people pay, but the number that the government lackeys put out. I really don't know why this administration is so set on lowering interest rates. It's like a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. But I don't know. A big realization I came to the other day is maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know anything. I'm still very much an amateur in this. Maybe I really don't know. One of the biggest problems with the internet is everybody gets a voice. And it seems sometimes like not a single person uses that voice to say simply, I don't know. I'm here to find out. Everybody's got an opinion and they're always, no, it's this way, you're 100% sure. I've never been 100% sure of anything in my whole life. Well, it appears like the market likes this news. Inflation's down. So they're just going to flood markets with more money. Yay. But I don't believe it for a second. Prices have not gone down at all. If anyone went to a supermarket, they would find out. If anyone went online to buy anything, they would find out. But somehow they just fixed the numbers just so. I mean, look at this. Just happened to come in just a little bit below expectations. How does it always happen? I think last time it came in just a little bit below. Funny that. I miss the old Republican ideal of not total government control over everything. Well, both parties do it nowadays, so. But at least for the longest time, Republicans held on to that a bit more than the socialists. Ridiculous, completely ridiculous. Let's take a look at some news headlines. But later on today, we have new home sales, monthly budget statement. At new home sales is at 10 a.m. I'm gonna block that out just momentarily. By block it out, I mean I'm not gonna trade at that time. And then we have the monthly budget statement, which comes out at 2. Now that's, from what I understand, that's the coming in and out of the Federal Reserve. Pretty important. How much money are they printing? I know, they don't print money, they just sell treasuries. It's the same freaking thing. Anything to prop up this fake market. I have a theory that, so like 40 years ago, even 30 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, the age-old goal of companies in the stock market was to make money from consumers. Customers were always the end goal. Businesses that sold to customers or customers directly. Whether that customer was the U.S. government or whatever. That is the goal. That was the goal. That's how capitalism is supposed to work. So once the Fed is established, we start getting this move towards just insane levels of credit and borrowing and debt, to the point where companies have to care less and less about the customer. And businesses, at the same time, they're getting bigger and bigger. So the little bit that they do have to care about customers, well, they can just bully the market. They're the only game in town, so you got to pay what they're asking. And at the same time, the government got weaker in the sense of regulation. Don't get me wrong, over-regulation is terrible, but the right type of regulation, which results in fair markets. So the trend has been less and less bear markets over the years. Bear markets are very important. They flush out the losers. And the businesses that did right by their customer, that didn't speculate too much, they would survive and they would thrive. It is a very important feature of the stock market. But now you get less and less bear markets simply because they can just keep borrowing money. Now it's all about hype. How much hype can you create to get the banks to loan you more money? And you get so many people saying it's going to break one day. It's just going to break one day. It hasn't yet. Somehow they're still able to do it. It's disgusting. It goes against every libertarian bone in my body. And poor Adam Smith is rolling around in his grave somewhere at the idea of this weird technocracy, debt vehicle world that we live in. The idea of debt just never sat with me. I never thought about borrowing money. If I can't afford it today, why would I be able to afford it tomorrow? What does sit with me well is the idea of putting money away. But that is the number one problem for businesses, is when people save money. No, you gotta buy little speakers and put them everywhere in your house so they can listen to your every move. All right, it's enough of this. Let's check out some news headlines. Oops. My internet is terrible. Live. They're doing CPI live now. I hate these headlines. Stock futures recover as CPI cools. They were recovering all night. No, they weren't actually. That's what I meant to say. Whatever. You always got to pretend that you know everything. God forbid you ever say, we don't know. JP Morgan earnings miss. Like it matters. They're just going to borrow more money. All right, let's read these articles and I'm done. Inflation eased in December as core consumer prices rose at the slowest annual rate since March 2021 in the final month of the year. It's freaking hilarious that we're seeing a slowing rate of increase as a victory. We need some deflation while keeping earnings at the same level. whatever. It's just a part of life now. CPI released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics Tuesday morning showed that on a core basis, which excludes the more volatile categories of food and energy, consumer prices rose 0.2% over last month, 2.6% over last year. Excuse me for a second. I want to get back in my oil trade. Or attempt to. The 2.6 increase matches the rise reported in November and equals the slowest pace of annual inflation since March 2021. On a headline basis, consumer prices rose 0.3% over the prior month and 2.7% over the prior year. Economists were expecting to see a 0.3% monthly increase and a 2.7% rise over the prior year. Inflation has remained stubbornly above the Federal Reserve for some time, but they're still going to cut. It has been characterized by policymakers as a less acute risk to the economy than a dramatic softening of the labor market. Yeah, okay. So they were talking about this late last year again, diverging trends. So their liars are telling them that inflation is going down. So let's pretend they believe it. And employment's going up or staying steady or whatever. So now they don't know really what to do. And with the White House going after Powell. But I really don't understand the point of that. He's on his way out. I really don't like how both sides of the government now just attack the other side. I mean, maybe that's been a trend since forever. I'm sure there's plenty of cases in the past where politics has had that effect. Whatever. The inflation is far above the 2% goal and has been for years now. They keep on spending trillions in debt, just the same with no budget. Their goal? After 4 years of 25% cumulative inflation due to Joe Biden's. Okay, yeah, just Joe Biden, that's all. That's the only one that did it. Trump is definitely not spending money like Joe Biden. According to an inflation tracking website, inflation rose from 1.4% in January 2021 to 9.1% in June 2022 under Biden. And liberals tried to convince the American people that that was okay. Okay, I don't... Because he captured the people putting out the... whatever. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I do know that inflation did rocket under Biden. But you're out of your mind if you believe that it's actually coming down now. The actual prices that matter are going up. I don't care if a loaf of bread is going down because of government subsidies or eggs are going down. I can't buy electronics. Nobody can right now. Electricity prices have doubled in the past 2 years. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's doing anything about it. What else is... Oh, health insurance. Forget it. Everybody saw a huge rise in health insurance lately. That's never going to get fixed. I check prices every week when I shop, and I've noticed prices still going up on some of the items I buy. Some are staying at their high prices. Only ones I see coming down are on junk food. Yeah. Gas prices are down, but as a senior, I don't go on many road trips, so that has no effect on me. FPL just raised the electric bill will be going up. City just raised water prices. So I really don't care about the CPRs. I go buy. Right. But they're still going up. Okay, now I don't want to. With all the proven inaccuracies of the Fed data points, Powell has been completely wrong on inflation for over 7 years. What are you talking about? The opposite is happening. This person says global stock markets crashed down hard due to uncertainty from the U.S. economic financial system. Globally, the U.S. is being watched. Global stock markets crash? U.S. is already treading water with 36... Yes, this is true. But him going after the Fed, which I do not agree with. I don't agree with the Fed in the first place. I don't know what I think. I'm not an economist. And most economists are wrong anyway. But that bad news lasted about a minute before everybody just started swimming in money again. His references. Oh God. Yeah, that ruling's coming out. My electric usage is less, but my bill is higher than normal. Yeah, everybody. Great. All right, I don't care. Let's look at some voice AI technology startup. DeepGram said on voice AI technology. DeepGram said on Tuesday it raised 130 million. Blah, 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 looks to expand internationally, roll out new models, pursue acquisitions. The funding round was led by AVP, an investment firm that focuses on tech startups across North America and Europe, with participation from new investors, including Alumni Ventures, Princeville Capital, and City Ventures. I don't care. People don't care about AI anymore. Microsoft's Brad Smith pushes big tech to pay our way for AI data centers amid rising opposition. Who writes these articles, these titles? It won't be easy for big tech companies to win the hearts and minds of Americans who are angered about massive artificial intelligence data centers sprouting up in their neighborhoods, straining electricity grids and drawing on local reservoirs. Microsoft is trying anyway. Software giant Brad Smith is meeting with federal lawmakers today to push forward an approach that calls for the industry, not taxpayers. So what needs to happen is, motherfucker. Sorry, of course. My oil trade is working out without me in it. It really, I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to give credence to it. President Donald Trump gave Microsoft's effort a nod in the Truth Social Money when he stated that he does not want Americans to pick up the tab for those data centers and pay higher utility costs. Yeah, more people need to come out and tell the president and other people that they will suffer in the midterms if they let AI bully people. Local communities naturally want to see new jobs, but not at the expense of higher electricity prices or the diversion of their water. Smith's campaign comes as data center developers are increasingly running into hostility in towns where they want to build and meeting to feed municipal boards that must approve zoning applications or construction permits. Good. Rising electric prices are one problem. Heavy water usage by data centers to cool electronic equipment also elicited concerns from local residents that they'll see their wells run dry or their water utility bills spike. The defeats have spread alarm among data center allies. Good. It spurred efforts to ramp up the amount of money that operators are willing to offer communities in exchange for approval. I don't care about money. Tell your representatives, wherever you are, no data centers. It'll just end up being an empty building. Alright, that's enough of news. I really don't care right now. Alright, what's next? Alright, I'm going to go over overnight moves real quick. Let's start with the ES. Kind of flat. Bounced off of the R1 pivot point. Bounced off it again at the news. We'll see. We'll see. This might be a bounce right here. I might take advantage of that. I'm already in a trade here. Yeah. I can do it on the ES, so why does that look different? Stay close. I guess the support and resistance areas would be different. Alright, let's do this quick. I can get over to that. Do this real quick. I want to trade, darn it. NQ quite similar, who cares? Everything's kind of flat. Russell's flat, Dow flat. Gold is up at that news. Surprised oil isn't actually. Bitcoin went up at the news but is now trending lower. We'll see. Guess it's now time for the Fed to say what they're going to do. All right, let's check. VIX took a dive at that news, but then now is coming right back up. The VIX on VIX is flat. NASDAQ VIX is actually slowly trending up. Well, no, this was yesterday. Never mind. Dollar saw a drop at first at the news. Bond yields dropped and then are now rising again. Just to show that there's been a trend of yields rising. That could dry up a little bit of money in the markets. What else we got here? Yeah, that's it for that. I want to show you now the QQQ, the NASDAQ. We have an ascending triangle building on the daily chart. As you can see here, it started in November, early November. Once you see price rise above this higher level, three things you want to look for: rising volume, higher highs and higher lows after this, and you want to see a candle close above this level. Pullback would be nice as well, but you don't always get it. Heck, we might just drive right up and then pull back. What else is there to look for? So the age-old wisdom is 1 to 3%. If it rises 1 to 3% above that line, then we're good to go. How would I know what 1% is? Geez, the move's pretty much over at that point. Might be over. If we wait for 3%, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much on the short term. We'll see. What else did I want to go over quick? That's it. I also want to show the bear flag that I missed last night. Despite it being so, let's take a closer look. This was last night. So price dropped pretty quick and then hold steady here. When you have a bear flag, or the opposite, which is a bull flag, you often see price trade in a range for some time, whatever, it differs. But price will often go in the same direction it was going. I was trading it back and forth for a while, which is one of my favorite trades to do. And then right here, I could tell the price was going to fall pretty good. And I missed it. I just kept thinking, well, it's too late to get in now, too late to get in now. I know it's not a huge move, but I scalped, so that would have been great. But of course, price bounced right back because it's the NQ. And here we are. All right, that's all I got. I want to trade. In the future, I might go over some chart patterns, volume profile stuff, so I can solidify it in my head. Move it into long-term memory out of the short term. We'll see. All right, that's all I got. Goodbye. Good luck.